You are watching the Deadfoot Diver Podcast with Kurt, the Deadfoot Diver.
That's what I say when I say that's the heart of diving. The heart of diving is I want to excel. And along the way, there's going to be a bunch of challenges. I got to have the right education. I got to have the right equipment. I got to have the right experience. I got to bring all this stuff together. And for the more involved challenges, you're not going to do it in a day. You're not going to do it in a week. You're working at it over years. And that I've been diving shipwrecks for decades. And I still get in the water every single dive. And I'm enjoying it. I've got things to do. I am very much mission driven, whether I'm working with students or I'm trying to develop my own skills and redesign equipment, or it doesn't matter. I get in the water, I got a mission. And I think that if I can still have some kind of mission every time I get in the water, why can't everybody else?
Yeah, exactly.
I was the guy who was too old for commercial diving.
That's funny, especially considering I bet those guys are looking back and going,
The truth of the matter is, I signed up for a class. I did it on the GI Bill. I did it with the federal government, paid for my school. I was in a class with 6 students. It was in the winter. Class started in like I think the 1st of December or the 3rd of December or something like that. In the port of Camden, right across from Philadelphia. And it's cold. They had to break through the ice some days. Just it had all iced over, and I was like, what an idiot! I could have come here in the summertime. But there were 6 students in the class, and you start your education. But one of the first things they do is, at that time, they gave you an oxygen tolerance test, an
oh
O2
yeah,
tolerance test. And the thing is, you had to pass the O2 tolerance test. Now, they don't do it anymore because they found that it's not really reflective of your ability. But the theory at the time was if you can't handle high pressure oxygen, high partial pressures of oxygen, then diving's not for you. It's like you couldn't do it. So we had this of the 6 students, one guy is doing the oxygen tolerance test, and he convulses and has a oxygen seizure, and he was okay. But they went, "Oh, okay, you failed the oxygen tolerance test. You can't be a diver." And they sent him home. But so that left 5 of us, and I wasn't the best student. I wasn't even number 2, but it was like a year later. After we graduated, a year later, I was the only guy working in the business.
the only one.
And it's so the other guys in the class had maybe given it a try or something like that. And it wasn't for them for whatever reason. But I was genuinely motivated to be successful because I was told I couldn't be successful. My first helmeted dive was in the old U.S. Navy Mark V rig with big breastplate and helmet. Your weight belt was like 75 pounds. That you had about 200 pounds of gear on. You got the big bronze boots, and it's like the first dive. It's one thing they try and get you into it. You're in a classroom and they get you all suited up, and you got to walk so many steps and that kind of thing. But I get in the water, you can't see any. There was no visibility. It's the Port of Camden, and it's you get in the water. It is cold. It is you can't see anything, and it's. I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, oh my, yeah, I'm not going to make it. I'm not, I can't. I'm not. I don't. I'm not giving up. But this is probably. I think this is probably the end. I oh, wait, one foot's touching. One foot touched the bottom. One foot touched. Wait a second. Wait, the other foot touched the bottom. You do this, and literally, the dive started out with me thinking, "This is. I'm not gonna be able to survive this." And by the end of the dive, I'm like, "This is for me. I can do it." And is the feeling of overcoming obstacles, whether in that case the obstacle was me, it was an intimidating environment. The old Mark Fives for a novice diver trying to it sounds easy. But they put a bucket on your head and they pump that air down with a hose. It sounds like it's easy, but there's a lot more in the way of subtleties to have a successful dive. And if you're a working diver, if you're trying to get something done, and it doesn't matter whether you're an instructor working with students or you're doing underwater construction or you're doing survey work, it doesn't matter what the job is. You can't be focusing, obsessing on the diving part. The diving part has to like just almost happen in the background to allow you to do the work that you're supposed to be doing. So it's like the level of your diving has to be extraordinarily high. And it's so that you can accomplish, whatever it is. And I think that's level of challenge appeals to a lot of people. And I think certainly in the case of adaptive divers, they give me a chance. Give me a chance. I can do this.
That's one of the things I love about diving again is the fact it gives me a challenge, especially with my disabilities. When I started this year, there's no adaptive instructors around here at all. We have one really good one in Canada that lives about 6 hours away, and he's so overbooked, he can't even take any students. And I had very little options. And when I had done my refresher, it was actually down in Cozumel. And so I was in like nothing, basically, PC, and that's it. I come back up here and I'm like, all right, I used to do this all the time. No big deal. I got this. Go buy a dry suit, go do all that stuff, get ready. And let me tell you, about the first 4 or 5 dives were not really dives. They were more of a test. They're trying to figure out my gear so that I could get sorted out under the water.
But you know that that's not a bad dive. Somebody's got to sort the gear out, and nobody else is going to do it. So I guess it's up to you.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. And also remember, you can donate to me directly at buymeacoffee.com/deadfootdiver, and that'll help me create more great content for you to watch. Thanks, and have a great day.